1, 2, 3, clap.
Hi and welcome to Hey Buddy, Nice Podcast. Sitting here all on my lonesome because my co-host isn't here. It's yours truly, Brogan Hastings. As you might have guessed from Tuesday's episode, we're currently experiencing technical difficulties. So there are no actual episodes of Hey Buddy, Nice Podcast this week because, well, technology decided to eat them. And there were good episodes too. I'm actually kind of gutted about that. So yeah, you had my Whoscoops episode on Tuesday, and today we have Wayne's Whoscoops episode. So sit back, enjoy the tones of Chris and Wayne, and, you know, I'll be back with you soon, dear listeners. Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Wayne, thanks for coming on the Whoscoops Podcast. I really appreciate you taking time out there from Perth, Australia, correct?
Yeah, that's right, in Perth. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah. So tell me, why are there so many Perth scoops? I mean, there's like 20 of you guys. I mean, what is it about Perth that draws you into ICS?
Well, if you're not aware, Perth is actually the capital of Australia. No, we like to think we should be. Especially, I said I wasn't going to talk politics, so I won't continue on that. I don't know why there's a lot of Perth scoops. I think there's a larger Penn and Teller following in Perth. It seems to be, or maybe we just seem to congregate together, and then. You know how it goes with Sunday school. Once you start listening to Sunday school, you move on to Hey Scoops usually. Right.
And then to Piff for you.
That's right, yeah.
So there's a lot I kind of want to get into, but
yeah.
So and that's so you've already answered the question that most people get is, well, how'd you find these guys? And you know, so you followed the traditional path.
That's right. Yes, the way most expected.
Right. So. I've been such a fan of your art.
If you can call it that.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Thank you.
It's wonderful. In fact, that's what led me to get an iPad with a pencil, you know, because
yes.
I always like using that side of the brain. I'm much more left-brained with the science, you know, side, but and I always say I'm no artist. This is fun, and if I'm gonna choose between, you know, true art and making a joke, I'm just going to make the joke and just be done with it. Yeah. So, and I have no patience. So anyway, but I'm loving all the art that you're doing.
Oh, it's fun. Like you said, you're doing it for yourself first, and that's really the only reason why I do it. So.
Mhm. So, but it, you know, you've gotten a good amount of. Not publicity, that's not the word I'm looking for, but recognition, I guess, from both Piff and Penn.
Oh, yeah. Piff's been good support. I sort of forced it upon him, and he liked it, so I ran with it.
Yeah,
and
I love it.
Yeah, Penn has only just sort of started to notice it, so which is good as well. I think it's always weird to have. I mean, at first it was weird to have Piff not necessarily notice it, but like appreciate it, and then it doesn't seem right almost for Penn to say, oh hey, that's cool, or the usual thing that Penn says, which is, so it's so good for you to include me in this, or something along those lines, where it's just being humble about it all.
Right. No, like I said, I people have asked me, why don't you try to interview Penn or Piff or something? I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
This is good enough. You know, I think I would be a rambling mess more than I already am, so I don't want that pressure. So, But I'll tell you my favorite comic, just so I can get it out there.
Okay.
And I think I told you this on Twitter before, which was the guy in the room. The girl's knocking on the door, and she says something, and he says, "I'm having a stroke," and she kicks the door down, and he's having a wank.
That is one of my all-time favorites as well. It makes me sad whenever I repost it, and it just doesn't go anywhere. People don't seem to like it.
I love it.
Yeah. And then the bonus panel for that one is he's stroking a cat instead. That's the family-friendly version.
Okay. So, well, it's caused me much mirth. I've enjoyed it a lot. So,
it's some of the facial expressions on that one that kill me. I'd try to find it now, but I don't know where it is on my computer. I don't know what number. I've got too many now to easily find things. It was an early one, though. So.
It was an early one, yeah. That was one that I just, you scroll and you scroll, because I'm like, all right, well, what else have you posted? And sure enough, there it was. So,
yeah.
So
no, that's what always gets me when there's a comic that I really like for some reason, whether it's got a facial expression which just kills me, or there's a joke in there which not necessarily people are going to get, and then it just falls flat, or people don't get it, or it's as simple as just posting it at the wrong time or in the wrong place, and that's the worst when I think it's a really good comic, because like I said, I'm doing it for me. So I'm doing it for me, so I assume everyone's going to like it as well, because I like it.
I can completely understand with that, because with me posting the little bits I have, and it's like, oh, this is hilarious, and it's coming straight off of, it's mostly Geek Shock stuff that I'm doing, and I'm like, oh.
See, you have to remember as well, interaction levels are not as high as like view levels, for example. So you might get a lot of people looking at it and laughing, and then they just forget to hit that thumbs up or something like that.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to tell myself was, look, you're not doing this for the likes. You're not trying to, there's no way that I'm ever going to take this and, you do a business or anything out of that. That's not the intent. It's just to have fun. So I'm trying to remind myself, just put it out there. If people like it, great. If not, do the next one.
That's it.
So, cool. So, well, what is that your day job? Is that are you a graphic designer or something like that, or?
No, I did go to extracurricular studies out of high school. It's college basically, but we call it TAFE over here, which was for multimedia. So a lot of front end and back end stuff. So a bit of coding, bit of design. But the only reason I did that is because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and my best friend was like, I was about to imitate his voice, but you don't know him, so it's pointless doing that. But
no, do it anyway.
He's got a deep voice, so he sounds kind of like this. It's like, hey man, what are you doing after high school? So I don't know, man. What are you doing? I'm going to go do multimedia. It's like, okay, let's go do that then. So I basically just followed him. I didn't gel well with school or studies or anything, so I did that full semester, so it was a full year. He didn't end up going back. I took a break, a year off, and then went back to do the diploma, and then bailed, basically, after 1 or 2 semesters.
Sure.
But that was the time, it was during that time is when I bought my first drawing tablet. It was meant for that, but I don't believe I have any artistic skill really at all. So it's I've posted some of the stuff before, but the first thing I ever drew on it was very crude stick figures, and it's a guy reading a newspaper, and on the back of the newspaper it says something along the lines of, if you read this paper you're going to die, and there's a guy standing behind him with a shotgun. But it just looks terrible. It's not even close to looking like people.
Right.
And then that sort of,
we got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and that sort of kept me going, drawing stupid things like that, and that was 2003, a long time ago. And then, I didn't really pick up doing the comics until 2018 now. doing it non-stop basically now. But yeah, as for a real job, I'm a tab technician, which is testing, adjusting, and balancing for air conditioning and exhaust systems. So I'll go into it's in the construction industry. But it's the least construction job in the construction industry, I think. We like to get in there after everyone else has built everything.
Yep.
We'll go in, we'll make sure an air conditioner is doing what it's meant to do, whether that's in, it's not residential, it's all business, so it's like shopping centres, office buildings. We're doing a lot of old folks' homes lately too, which is annoying, especially when they're existing, because we haven't had too much of an issue up until recently with COVID, so we've been able to just go in now. Anytime you go in, you need to do a rapid antigen test just to prove that you're not infected. Right. So you can go in there and do your work. But it's different to anything else I've done in the past. I've only been doing that for 4 or 5 years.
No, it's really important. I mean, we when I was working at the hospital, that was a very important part. They had to come in once a year and do all the air balancing, and you can imagine, especially within a laboratory, you want it negative into the laboratory, and then after that, you want it negative into microbiology. And we definitely don't want any bad bugs getting out.
No. Yeah, I've done a few hospitals, not laboratories, but operating theatres and the same sort of thing. When you've got your prep and then your actual theatre and all that, so you need the right pressures going in the right spot. Yeah.
Same thing. I think ORs have to be positive pressure because you want air going out, not coming in. Correct?
Well, you don't want, it's the same sort of thing. You don't want anything infectious to be able to come into the operating theatre. So you want a positive pressure there. But then in like the setup room,
that's right.
So you've got multiple pressures going, because there's usually 3 or 4 rooms connected. So it's a bit of a juggling act to get it right.
That is really. I watched them as they would go around, and they would. Anyway, there's a whole thing.
Yeah.
they built what they built when they tested it initially. They had left the hoods on. Well, they're loud, and so we can't hear each other, so we turn them off. So when they came back to do the testing again, they said, "You're positive. You can't. We have to fix this." I'm like, "Okay, we'll fix it." We're not going to run these all 24/7. You need to fix it some other way. So they figured it out. But
okay, so they still managed to do it without the hoods running. Oh well, gonna say, because someone in their infinite wisdom has designed this, thinking, these loud hoods are going to do the job. People don't need to hear each other.
No, not at all. I mean, and when they both are going, because you can have one going and then that's loud enough. You have both of them going. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
I say all the time, people get paid a lot more than me to make these stupid decisions.
Right. So. Well, that's the funny thing is that, those hoods we do when we do the setup. So you got the actual sample, put it under the hood, plate it onto the, the microbiology media. What we don't show you is the next day when we're actually looking at the plate, we're not under the hood. We're out. We're out on the counter. Yeah. Open it up, as you do that motion, going right through your face. But it stays on the plate. But I've always found that funny. Same thing when we're doing CSF. When you've got a spinal tap, everything is handled under the hood for micro. But if you're doing the cell count, you're out in hematology. Open the container.
Yeah.
Do the thing. It's so funny. But anyway, I kind of miss it a little bit, the lab side. Yeah. But I'm telling you, this new job, my stress level is completely down.
That's got to be the biggest benefit, for sure.
It's less worry if my phone rings. I'm not as worried. It snowed last night. 2 inches of snow, and I woke up this morning and went, wow, I didn't have to get 3 phone calls that 5 people didn't show up to work.
Yeah.
It's really nice. So
is it snow season? What's going on?
It is.
Okay.
So, well, And so, I'm in Tennessee, so we get all types of weather, and that's not just, during this. We get all types of seasons the same week. So just 2 days ago, it was 60 degrees, and then last night it snowed, and it was only 29 today. Yeah. So, and then I think at the end of the week, it's supposed to be clear almost to 70. So, really? And I know that's English. That's so I can do the math. I just
I just know what numbers in Fahrenheit sound high and what sounds low. So
right. So Tennessee is. While I'm not as happy with we're not going to talk politics, but I'm not happy with the politics around here. But I do like the weather and the southern hospitality. That is true most of the time. So anyway, but so tell me a little bit more about your area in Australia. The majority of scoops aren't Australian. I can't say that.
Well, there are a lot of Aussie scoops.
So,
and you're saying a lot of Perth scoops. I think I've worked that out. It's not the number, it's the per capita, because there's less people in Perth. So it just seems like more.
So I did take a quick Google this morning when we were or when I sent you the message earlier, and I said, well, how much would it cost to get to Perth? And it was around $2,500 for the plane trip.
Yeah.
But to get to Melbourne, it was 24 hours or something like that. But to get to Perth, it was 30 something.
Yeah. So
I didn't realize that was that far.
That's right. Perth is the most isolated capital city in the world. That's a fact.
Wow.
So when we're heading over there for Scoop Fest, I say for Scoop Fest, we're having it. We're going to be over in America for 2 months, a bit longer.
Do you know how jealous we are that you get to take 2 months off?
Oh, yeah. It's been, for a lot of people, it's been 3-4 years, hasn't it? So
true.
That's just, I think 2019, January was the last time I was away. And that was I say just in Sydney. Sydney is still a 5-hour flight, at least 5 to 6 hours. So that's what we'll be doing. We'll be going, we're going Sydney first. I think that's about a 5-hour flight. Mm-hmm. Then we've got a 3-hour layover, and then we'll be flying to LA, which is about another 14-15 hours. So it is a long time, that's for sure.
Wow.
Gonna have to stock up on videos on my iPad to watch, I think.
Get you a good Kindle book or something to read too.
Yeah, I've got a few. So.
Yeah, I'm finishing up Jurassic Park. I had started it, and I say that. Finishing it up. I haven't read it in 3 days.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, I swore I was going to read L.M. Kennedy's book, so that has got to be
next. So, when you said finishing up, I thought you were going to say, I started in 2008. I've got 3 chapters left.
That's accurate. That's accurate.
I was going to say that's usually what happens with me. I've got multiple books which have been opened and sit there, and I'm looking at them, and most of them now are digital. So right. It's like video games. I end up with multiple copies.
I was going to show you. So here's my stack beside my bed here of. You probably, it's not going to show.
No, it's not going to. Just hold it in front of your face, so it'll show up, hopefully.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, sort of did.
The Sandman, I got 5.
Yeah.
And I read the first one, the first graphic novel. And I liked it a lot. And I started the second one, and there it sits.
Yeah. I've started to go off of reading, using my eyes now. And I think podcasts are to blame because... If I'll listen to an audiobook now instead, rather than actually reading it, and the price has got something to do with that as well. I was going to buy Bob Odenkirk's memoir, and it was like $40 Australian.
Jeez.
Yeah, and it's like I've got a credit for Audible here that I can use to get it with, so I'll do that instead.
Do you guys have access to Libby? The app?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we do.
So I just heard a few weeks ago that Libby has a audiobook part of the app.
Okay.
And I haven't played with it too much other than opened it and said, oh, it does.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you can reserve audiobooks there, too.
Okay.
So, yeah. And if I may be mistaken, so sorry, Justin, if I am, but I think Justin Froyog, he works for that company, or at least, if not for that company, for something close to it.
I remember seeing something like that a little while back. Mm-hmm. He was tweeting about it.
Yeah. So, anyway, it's something. I'm actually going to open that again because, you know what? I shouldn't even open it because that just means it's another day I won't read. So. Yeah,
that's it. Oh, is it like Duolingo where it tells you've missed a day reading or something? You haven't done your French stuff today.
Oh, I hope not, because then it'll turn that notification off.
The folks behind the scenes are tracking all this and keeping that data.
That's right.
To see when you're reading and when you're not.
If it's free, you're the commodity, you know.
Yeah, that's it.
So, what else are you going to be doing in America while you're here? I mean, Scoop Fest is only officially 2 days, so
that's right. Yeah, so we're starting off in LA. I think we're there for. Hang on, let me pull up my itinerary.
All right.
This is version 3 of the itinerary, because of course we were meant to be going there for the Scoop Fest when it was originally happening. So and it's changed a lot. So we're there in LA for just over a week. We'll be doing the usual sort of LA stuff, hitting up sites. We're going to go to the Universal VIP.
I was about to say Universal or Disneyland,
Yeah, well, Disneyland comes later. Then we're headed to Vegas a little bit early. So we've got about a week before Scoop Fest proper starts. Because I know Brogan's going to be there early as well, so we'll be hanging out a bit. We'll be visiting the guys in the Churn. I think that's the day before Scoop Fest.
Sweet.
So it's an extra extended Scoop Fest. Of course, we're seeing Penn and Teller. Trying to work out when we want to see Piff, because we'll be seeing Piff in what's the Misery Loves Company tour.
With Puddles.
Which is really good because For the last few years now, when this is meant to be happening, I always look up Puddles, and there's never any right tour dates or anything like that, and it's just worked out perfectly. When we're in New York, they're in New Jersey, so we'll be able to catch a train. That's a term people use, isn't it? Catch a train, ride a train, take a train.
Not in Tennessee.
I'm more aware of things that I say that don't sound right when I'm talking to someone from another country.
Oh, no, it sounded right. It was fine.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So that's about an hour out, I think, hour and a half train ride. It's going to be great. But yeah, we want to see Piff proper in Vegas as well.
Right.
I've sent him an email asking when, because when we came by, we just stopped by in 2018.
Popped in.
Dover. In 2018, Piff tickets were one of the first things we pre-purchased, and I think it was a couple of days before the show, I tweeted out, I'm so excited to see Piff on Wednesday or whatever it was. And Piff's like, the show's been cancelled on Wednesday. I'm like, you're funny, man. I've got my tickets right here. We'll see you then. And then he messages me. This is before I met Piff in person or interacted with him at all. It's like, no, the show's been cancelled. We don't know how you've got tickets. I bought them from Ticketmaster. It's like, okay, this again. It seems to be a common thing where Ticketmaster gets, shows are cancelled and they'll still sell tickets. Managed to get that all sorted. I mean, it was back and forward a few times, and then we got our replacement tickets, but we got that through the box office that time. It was for our second visit to Vegas, because we started and ended the trip in Vegas. And that show ended up getting cancelled as well.
Oh, jeez. That is so my luck, too.
Tiff, we don't know what to do. And it's like, look, we're going to comp you the tickets now. It's like, you've dealt with it twice, so we'll comp you the tickets. When can you come? You tell me what date, and I'll let you know if there is going to be a show then. Or you tell me the days that you're here, and I'll tell you what day to come. So we ended up managing to see the show, which we didn't want comp tickets. We wanted to. We want to give you money, Piff. Yeah. And then when we're at there's the VIP show as well, so there's interaction beforehand. And I think I was wearing my Scoop shirt from the Jock vs. Nerd Day. So it was the what's it called? The Ice Cream Socialist logo on it. And Jade recognized it. And no, sorry, I'm confusing that with Matt King. They brought out Mr. Piffles, and we're like, that's not Mr. Piffles, that's Tui. And my wife says to Jade, is this actually Tui? And she's like, oh, you must listen to the podcast, Piff Pod. And I was like, yeah, we do. She's like, oh, good. We'll take you backstage before the show starts so you can meet the real Mr. Piffles.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was good. And she's like, after the show, just come see me. I want to give you some stuff. I was like, Jade, you don't need to. It's fine. And it's like, no, I want to. And she's like, here, have a little Mr. Piffles doll. Have a deck of cards. Like, yeah. What else do you want? Here, take these shirts. You listen to the podcast. And then I thought it was funny a while back listening to Piff say, we don't know where $10,000 worth of merchandise has gone. It was like, I think I know what's been happening with it. Jade's been giving it all away.
Sounds right.
Yeah, but no, Jade is the best.
Yeah.
And it's like this time, I've messaged him and said, look, I want to try and make sure it's a time when there's not going to be cancelled shows or anything because I'd like to give you money this time. Right. And we'll see what happens. I don't know what's happening with that yet.
I hope that works out for you. Yeah, I got to see him and did the VIP thing in February of 2020. So right before, and it was a ball. They were extremely kind to the boys and hilarious. They. When I walked up, I had the Scoop hat on, which I don't. What have I got? I don't even have my hat on anymore. But I had the Scoop hat on, and as she saw me, Jade saw me walk down, and she's like, "A Scoopy," you know. And I said,
Scoopies, yeah.
And I said, yeah. I said, she said, "We love Matt," and I said, "Yeah, he don't like me though." And she went, "Why?" She looked offended, like, "Why? What did you do?" And I said, "Well, I do the Whoscoops Podcast," and she said, "That is hilarious." Yeah. And and it was good, but so yeah, we got to hold. Now she swore it was Piffles. Now I'm not sure if it really was him or not, but that she said, "This is the real Piffles. This is Piffles." So I don't know if it was really him or if it was Tui because you never know who's a real fan and knows the inside, or if she's talking to because she was talking to everybody. So
And Piffles, I mean, you can tell, you can spot Piffles now because he looks a bit older. So
he's getting up there.
Yeah, that's it. He's about the same age as my cat, I think. And my cat definitely looks old, so...
Yeah. I'm surprised now that you say that. Mine's not. He usually sits right beside me when I do these. Yeah. I realize our cat is the same age as my youngest son, and he's 11. Yeah. And and I think he was a year or two when we got him. So he's getting up there too. But, he doesn't act old. Yeah, same little jerk that he was 10, 11 years ago. So.
My cat's just getting more annoying with age. More vocal, more shouty. It's like, it's my dinner time. Give it to me now.
That's the fun. He really doesn't meow at all. He really doesn't. Yeah. And we had another cat, and when that cat came, it was a vocal cat. It was, meowing, and he would just go over there and whop and smack that cat when it would.
We do not shout in this household.
Exactly, and now that cat doesn't meow at all.
Yeah. You've been taught, kitty.
That's hilarious. So, well, that sounds like fun. I wish we could be there, but we had a family member get ill, so and they were going to help us out in babysitting and everything, because I don't think taking a 14 and 11-year-old to Vegas is appropriate. Yeah. Or we could do it. It's just I'm not going to have any fun. So, but
that's right. It's not as it's not fair on them necessarily, and it's not ideal for you as well. So.
Right. So, but stranger things can happen. I could wake up tomorrow and say, you know what, I'm going to fly out Friday night. No, that's not going to happen because she won't let me do that. As you were saying it, I was like, oh yeah, that's a possibility. Then I'm thinking, wait, he means by himself. That's probably. Yeah. Yep. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, I will, but I'm trying to get people to come up to Nashville to go to that show, but I got to check. Now I'm looking at my calendar. And because we've got baseball starting up again too, so I have to check and see if we can do that. But I think we're going to go, because on the weekend, and I think it's should be family friendly event. We're going to go up to Indiana to watch Matt do.
Okay.
I still say Hillbill.
I know, same. Yeah. I try to say Mind Noodler rather than Hillbill.
I've still got. I bought the damn shirt. So anyway,
actually, that's something I'm looking forward to. Is I was about to say the Hillbill show, but the Mind Noodler show, because I've seen a few of them online through the Patreon rewards and all that. But no, I think what I really am looking forward to is the Bucket Show. Because we talk about getting into how you get into Ice Cream Social. I sort of buried the lead a little bit because when it was sort of announced that Matt had a side podcast with his comedy partner, I was like, okay, I started to listen to the first episode when it came out, and I probably listened to 3/4 of it, and then I had to leave the house for some reason, and then I never listened to it. It was like reading a book. I didn't finish it off, and then Penn Sunday School, I think I'd fallen a bit behind on it, so I had to catch up on that and didn't really have time to listen to a new podcast. With the job that I was working at the time as well, I wasn't traveling as much, driving as much, so I didn't listen to as many podcasts. And then I would notice the Bucket Show getting tweeted about by Matt, because I was still following him on Twitter because, Sunday school. And then that's when they were periscoping it as well. So I would watch the Bucket Show.
Yes.
I was watching the Bucket Show for months before I started listening to the podcast.
All right, you didn't follow the tradition.
That's right. No, now that I think of it, it was completely different.
I loved those shows on Periscope. Yeah. They were hilarious.
Yeah. That's it. And then coming in 2018 to America, visiting the Churn, doing Scoop Fest. Bucket Show had been cancelled, and this is the one in the I can't remember the studio name. The bullshit set, the big white room.
Oh yeah.
Which I'd been looking forward to it, and then they couldn't do it anymore, and then Bucket Show cancelled again and again. And it's like but no, I'm glad I'm actually going to get to see a Bucket Show now. That's what to most.
And I say it often on this show, and I'll continue. Is just that's what drew me in, is the love of improv. And I know Matt disagrees, and with it can't be funny virtually. Oh yes, it can.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. When they did that one Bucket Show early on. And didn't do any more virtual Bucket Shows. It's like I don't know what you're talking about. I was laughing, but I think it's the same sort of premise as I'm drawing a comic and I'm doing it for me and it's making me laugh, and that's what I'm getting out of it. They're performing. They've not got an audience there to give them the visceral feedback. So
that's true. That
not necessarily true. That they think that it's not funny, but they're not getting out of it what they normally get or normally expect.
That puts it in a good perspective. It's really tough, and I know they've talked about this, especially Piff and Matt, about doing all those Zoom shows during the pandemic. It is different. You're not getting because God, you turn everybody on, as an audience, the cacophony of sound that would be coming back would be horrible. But
you'd think that Matt and Paul would be a little bit more comfortable with it because they were doing Twitch for quite a long time as well, with just the recordings of the show. But I think Piff, the shows that I saw, he did fall comfortably into that, I guess, no instantaneous feedback sort of loop, because that's what it's like on Twitch for all streamers. You've got a chat going on.
Yeah, you've got
people
the
can chat
bar.
to you. Yeah. But it's even when I'm streaming, drawing a comic, I notice how at first you seem a bit more uptight, but then it just becomes natural and you feel looser. And you see that with Piff when he's doing the shows, the virtual shows as well. He seemed very loose during the second show compared to the first one that I watched.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, you learn how to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw the Christmas special and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see more, just, improv sets, even virtual. It's just tough, I get it, especially if there's a delay in the way that they're communicating.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Who knows? I'll tell you my favorite part of the Bucket Show that they ever did, which was the where everybody tweeted the pictures.
Yeah,
and then the picture would just go up there. I'm telling you, some of the things that they did on those pictures, I was like, this is the best. To me, you could build a whole show on that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I was talking about before, that first thing that I drew on my first tablet with the guy reading the paper. I sent that as a bucket pick once.
Yeah.
And then it showed up on the big screen behind them. And they were just laughing at it and said, that's too funny to do anything with. I was like, well, that's a compliment.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, so hopefully they'll stream some. I'm really hopeful that they will, so that I can look on.
Some scoops will certainly be streaming it for sure. I mean, I'm going to be trying to record some stuff at least. So
cool.
Yeah. Cool. Even if it's not live, it'll be out and about.
Well, hell, even if I would even think if they could gather and look, I'm going to give them an idea. If they would just gather all the video up and throw it out there for like $5 or something,
Yeah.
I would pay that, or just to be able to watch, because I know that whenever they streamed one of them, they had to cut it because of they couldn't show what the
puppetry of the penis. Yeah. See, that's where I'm in my back catalogue of. I still haven't listened to every Ice Cream Social episode. I've only got about 30 left, which I'm probably going to get through before I leave.
So you got a whole flight too. So.
Yes, that's right. I'm up to that Scoop Fest, and they're talking about that. About we're going to have so much content, we'll put it all together, and then. Post-Scoop Fest, they're talking about how they had the puppetry of the penis guys, and they had Periscope going, and it's like, oh, Christ, we're going to get banned off Periscope. So,
So, what I remember about that was that they said some guy brought his girlfriend or wife or somebody.
Yeah.
And she was not happy.
Yes. They're saying how it was the puppetry of the penis first, and then Benny Bonobo came out, and then she was really not impressed.
He played the piano with his penis.
Yep. I did actually. I happened to tune in live for that on Periscope as well during Scoop Fest. Yeah. I was like, I didn't know that it was Spadoni at first.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought, I think that's Spadoni. What is he doing?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard of Benny Bonobo at that time.
Okay.
So,
no.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise.
Well, it was a surprise to everybody because he wasn't supposed to do that. So.
Oh, no. But I think it was more or less directly after Puppetry of the Penis, though, as well.
It was.
If I remember.
From what I remember as well. Yeah. And then, was it the same Scoop Fest that they had the Cookie Monster? I can't remember her name.
Charlie Starling?
No, it wasn't Charlie.
It wasn't Charlie?
She did Boldly Stripped, was like her newest thing. Hazel Honeysuckle.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I think she did the Cookie Monster stripping show, or burlesque show, I should say.
Burlesque, yes.
I get my titles wrong, so.
It's under the same umbrella. I don't know. I don't want to say something that might be wrong or offensive. Yeah. So it is not under the same umbrella.
Completely
and
different.
I don't know if it's the stripper or the burlesque artist saying that. So
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know who's more offended. See, that's something I never understand, is I do not get who is going to be more offended by a comic that I make. It's like, there was one comic I made that I thought was just going to offend anyone who believes in God. But it turned out it offended old white guys instead, which, I mean, probably one and the same.
The Venn diagram's pretty, yeah.
But, yeah, it was, they're like, you are so fucking racist with what you said. He's comparing God to an old white guy. It's like, what are you talking about?
What other image have we seen other than Morgan Freeman?
This is how he is typically depicted.
Exactly.
It's not my fault if a lot of old white guys... Okay, this is starting to sound a bit racist. If a lot of old white guys' views are set in stone, incapable of change, and often wrong.
Right.
Yeah. But it's not the... It was the backlash that I was getting from it.
Oh, what did I hear? We were had to sign some documents, and one of them said, "This is just to make sure that we have kept this clear of any prejudice and all this stuff." And I'm like, it's pretty damn hard to be prejudiced, or not you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't think of the word right this second, but against a male white. Southern in Tennessee. It's pretty hard, I'm not the minority
let's see
here.
That group's major oppression, hey?
That's it, yeah.
It's like when people in Perth, we're only really getting COVID now. Like, we're getting 4,000, 5,000 cases a day, which is massive considering we had zero for so long.
So, are you able to get the vaccine there yet?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm triple vaxxed.
Okay,
double vaxxed boosted.
Great, because I'd heard that there was a lot of delays getting the vaccine to you guys, which
at first
wasn't a big deal because you didn't have any cases, so it was fine.
Well, in Western Australia, this is where it sort of bit us a bit in Western Australia. It's because we were a bit more delayed getting vaccines than the rest of Australia. Our vaccinated numbers were lower when Omicron hit. So there was a giant push to get up to 95%, or sorry, at the time it was 80% double dosed, which...
That's amazing.
Oh, we're 95% double dosed as a state. And last I checked, it was like 65% with the booster. So that's why I thought I wasn't going to be able to come out to Scoop-Fest, because our borders were meant to open... I can't remember what it was, end of February or something like that. But because of Omicron and life-saving measures, it's like, it's not going to happen. We're not going to be able to get out. But then, because Omicron is hit, we've got the numbers. There's no point keeping things closed. So we're able to travel.
So with that surge and with everybody being that vaxxed, are your hospitalization numbers down? So your case numbers may be high, but you may not have that many in the hospital.
Well, it's funny because not funny, but it's weird because our hospital rates are actually up because we had 0 people in hospital. But rates in terms of...
rates to cases.
Percentage, yeah. I'll bring it up right now.
Yeah, that'd be great, yeah. And while you're looking at it, I'll just tell you, because around here, again, what we were just talking about, South, male... stubborn, think everything's a conspiracy, so we had our number of people in the hospital, even with Omicron, was very significant.
Yep.
So
all right, here we go. So we actually did all right. This was an hour ago this was posted, so this is yesterday's numbers. 122 cases currently in hospital. New cases 3,602 and 24,000 odd active cases. So that's in Western Australia. There was a death yesterday. That's the second one in a little while. Oh, well, recently I should say.
Do they tell you anything about the demographics of the patients? I doubt it.
You might be able to find out about it. But not on this basic infographic.
Yeah, I mean, what we were seeing was the ones that were dying. Well, I can't say that. During Alpha, it was mostly the elderly or the immunocompromised. That's what we were seeing. Yeah. Again, this is me seeing it. And then we didn't see a lot of deaths initially. Yeah. It was very sick, long COVID. But then Delta, I'm telling you, we were in charge of the morgue, and I never saw the morgue that full for that long. I mean, when you have funeral homes come and saying, we don't know where to put the bodies, and they're running their retorts, just patient in, body in, body out. Oh my. You don't put a patient in the retort. You put the body in the retort.
When I think of a morgue, my experience of morgues is it's the county morgue. The sheriff has gone there or whatever, and there's a body in there because there was a murder. Right. And during these, it's the X-Files. There's the pus exploding pandemic one off the faces. There's 5 bodies in there, and this is a pandemic. So I couldn't even imagine what the reality would be. As I was saying, in Perth, in Western Australia, with 0 cases for so long. Oh no, there's been a case. We're going into a 2-day lockdown, which is not really a lockdown. You can still leave your house. You have to wear a mask. And then you've got people protesting, March for Freedom rallies. Like, dude, you do not understand the definition of oppression, do you?
No, they don't. They don't. And then, nope, I'm not going to. Yeah. But other things that are going on in this world right now, and I don't know. Human life to me is so precious, and just people just don't care, and that's what's frustrating, because you're not just doing it for yourself. You're doing it for your grandparent or the neighbor or whoever, and it's just so frustrating. And I blame Britney Spears, and I'm being serious about that. Okay. I blame Britney Spears for a lot of this anti-vax shit. Because,
I haven't heard any of that.
She was a huge anti-vaxxer. Said that it was autism.
Are we talking back in the day or recently? Or
I think she's cooled on it, but she was big time anti-vax there for several years.
Okay. And I feel like I would have heard if she was saying don't get the COVID vaccine.
No, I don't think she's, because it came out that her son didn't even have autism. Yeah. And he had something else. And anyway, it's just. Yes, she was reading the same bad research as other people. Yeah. But my thing is, you've got a platform. You need to use it appropriately and not spread bad information. And
that's right. Yeah.
Now we've seen mumps, come back, rubella come back. Yeah. In fact, I just heard about a polio.
I was going to say polio. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, and
it doesn't make any sense.
Eradicate these things, but anyway, all right. So, well, cool. So you have a Patreon, correct?
Yes.
All right.
With mostly family supporting. That's not true. They no longer make up the majority.
Good.
Less than half of my Patreon supporters are directly related to me.
Well, that's good. Well, maybe we might get some people, including myself, to actually, because I think, I need to do that, and then I walk and just like we talked about earlier, I need to look at that and do something else.
Patreon is not the end goal. The end. What is more effective is people interacting with comics. If people like a comic, share a comic, retweet it, whatever, that's comments are big as well, because if people see commenting happening on a comic, other people comment, and that's what helps it grow more than anything else.
All right, well, so then I'll do more of a better job. You probably have more of a Twitter follow, or we probably link together and have a lot of the same
a lot of
follows and
scoop,
everything.
Crossover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but if we can, but that's just it. If you posted it at 11 at night last night, I see it at 8 in the morning. Yeah. A retweet may, get it seen again by somebody else. And
so I do my very best to stay up late and post it. They say, different media platforms say different times. Like Imager, for example, they say around 8 a.m. But I don't know if they're talking East Coast or West Coast, because 8 a.m. could be 6 or 5 a.m. in LA compared to New York. So
right.
It's a lot of the Reddit now at least tells you number of concurrent users in different subs, so it gives you a bit of an idea. But they've all seemed to drop off now that there's a war going on. So I don't know what's. Yeah.
You cut off the internet to a certain country. Yeah. Interesting.
That's right. So now that's sort of thrown it for a bit of a loop. I don't know when is the right time to post now, and I mix it up. I experiment. I try different things. Yeah. But it's I'm sure you fall prey to the algorithm at times as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if you like my comic and you see it anywhere, just say, hey man, that was funny, or that comic sucks. Like, you have no right making comics. Either or, it works.
And just those two, not in between, or
no. I won't accept any constructive criticism either. I won't. It's like I will not accept. Those eyes, those big orange eyes look like egg yolks. What are you doing? You should make them a different color. I won't accept that. I'll accept, hey, those eyes suck. Or you should have gone for the wibbly eyes or the noodle arms.
No, I do. See, but that's just it. Is that the way you draw? I know it's your comic immediately when I see it.
Oh, yeah.
So I love it. I love it. And I also love I'm not that good at say it right, so I don't screw it up.
Not so good at this?
Not so good at this.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do it off memory. And
yes, not so good at this. And Piff comic, which is, it's sort of transitioning to Piff and Pop's magic shop for a little while. It's doing it, that way I can get more pen in there. That's really the only reason I think that I wanted to do it. But it does give it a bit more direction as well. So it's not like it's an ongoing series, but it's got a theming going on now at least.
Something, another thing. Oh, I like that idea. I like. Piff and the guys were talking several months ago. I was actually painting the door whenever I was listening to it. They were pitching, a show to him and everything. But you never know, man. You could be the inspiration for something,
Oh, I doubt that.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
No, I love it. When you do magic through a comic, the idea, it just killed me.
The one was an actual comic, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You showed cards and then it hid and then.
the one that was a flat static comic that was pick a card, any card, and then randomly. I chose 7 of diamonds to make it the reveal because, some people are going to choose 7 of diamonds and it'll blow their mind, and the rest of the people, they just need to get better at picking cards. A lot of people on that were like, there must have been subliminal shit going on because, you look at the shape of his arm, he's pointing, it looks like a 7 and there's diamonds all over him. That must be why I chose 7 of diamonds.
That's great.
No, seriously, that was the first card that I just chose. I just wrote that down.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah, but then the motion style video comic, that was one of the first internet magic tricks I saw in 1998, where it was on a website where they just had 6 cards. You pick one, scroll down, and your card is gone.
Right. Because it's 6 different cards.
That's right. Exactly. Whoa. Slow down there, Penn and Teller. Don't give away the secrets.
Oh, sorry. That's right. This isn't abracababble. We can't give the secrets away on this show.
That's it.
If I think about it, I'll beat that out,
Yeah. No, it's any website you go to with that trick, they show you what they've done. So that's why I don't know who invented it, so I couldn't give credit or anything like that. And I did my research. I did my due diligence, but I couldn't find anything about it. I just know it was one of the oldest internet card tricks.
Yeah. I tell you, my grandfather was a amateur magician. He had a full drawer full of of magic tricks and everything. And so maybe that's where I got that interest. I don't know. But it's one of those things where you think, how do they do that? But as Teller says, magic is ugly. The true magic is ugly, but, so I don't spend too much time trying to figure out, well, how do they do that? It's like, really cool.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Anyway, I do enjoy Magic. So, have you seen Penn and Teller yet, though?
Yeah, we saw them in 2018, year of our Lord. In 2018, I used to hate when people said, the year is 2010, it's 2012. It's like, no, it's 2012.
Yes.
But now that we're in the 20s, it's flipped in my head. So now I still almost go back and say it the other way, and 20,000 comes out.
When did I? Yeah. 2011, it wasn't 2011. I would say 2011 to exactly. 2012. I think 2012 is whenever I
because of that
transition.
Fucking movie.
That was the Mayans,
Yeah, that's right. The Mayans' fault. But yeah, we saw them in 2018, year of our Lord, 2018, and that was another one that had to get tickets refunded and exchanged and that because the only time that they could fit in the Jock versus Nerd Day was the day we had tickets for Penn and Teller. But of course, Matt, was able to sort that out. But yeah, so I feel like my road to Penn and Teller is a little bit different than other people's as well.
Yeah.
Because being in Australia, I mean, we didn't get Saturday Night Live and things like that. I don't think we had Letterman showing back then either, even though during my teen years, Letterman was, I'd watch that religiously. So we did end up getting late night shows eventually from America. But no, the first thing I ever remember of seeing of Penn and Teller was as a kid, phobophilia, their special phobophilia, which is the love of fear.
Yeah.
And it's not like their other specials because there's not really much magic going on. It's the one where they got Paul Provenza crawling through like this big, almost like a slide or slippery dip that's going up and over the back of the stage, and it's one of those fully enclosed, like a water slide without water, where it's like enough for him to like squeeze through, and that was meant to be showing off claustrophobia. And like through the whole show, he's making his way all the way down to the end, and then at the end, well, halfway through, he makes it, and they seal up that end, so he has to go backwards all the way back. And then there's another bit where there was, I can't remember what the phobia was, but the bit was about cyanide pills, and Teller was meant to be like a operative spy, but he'd been captured by the enemy, and he had the cyanide pill in a false tooth or whatever. And it's just him being interviewed by another operative, trying to find out if he's the spy or not. And then when they're about to do the mouth exam, he swallows the pill. So because you swallow it, you're fine. You bite down on it, that's when the cyanide gets you. And at the end, she's like, he swallowed the pill. Now we can get all the information we want from him, and they torture him. Oh, it must have been fear of torture. That's what it was. But there was I don't recall any magic happening during these bits. The only actual magic trick I remember, early on they do, the creamer with the fork for the eye. Yeah. And then they did the bullet catch at the end. The magic bullet at the end. So that was my first sort of introduction to Penn and Teller, and then it was years later.
Yeah.
My mum's husband at the time, he was from England, and he had brought over some VHS tapes with him, things that he recorded off the telly. And one of them, it just said Penn and Teller Magicians. And it's like, I think I was aware of them, but hadn't really seen anything. So me and my brother watched it one day, and it was The Unpleasant World of Penn and Teller, the whole series recorded on VHS, which is the series that they did in England.
I was about to say, they must have done it in England.
Yes, yeah. And that was sort of what made me actually aware of Penn and Teller. But it still wasn't like a hardcore fan or anything. I think it was... it was late. It's probably like the second last season of bullshit when I started actually gathering all the morsels of content that they had. And that's...
Yeah, because I remember seeing them as a kid here and there, and then I'll never forget the one where they had, I think it was Georgie or whoever the assistant was. She laid back on a skill saw, and it looked like it killed her, and they were just like, they just kind of went, okay. It wasn't a big deal, and I was like, oh my God. Yeah. But I remember when we had moved out of the dorms into an apartment, and we got 3 months of, I guess, Showtime or whatever, for free. And so that was one of the first things that was on, and I had no idea they were doing this show. Yeah. And they did. The two I remember that we watched that night were one about germs, and so... Yeah. Where they went and they actually swabbed the toilet seats in Dillard's or something, some not that that's upscale, but, some fancy, toilet, and then the bus station toilet. Yeah. And then so that one, but then the other one that I loved was the one about 9/11. And just, when they were saying that they couldn't decide what to build those towers, what to build in the place of the towers. Yeah. I think Penn and Teller hit it on the head. We should have built those buildings right back the way they were. Yeah. Just a big middle finger to the Middle East, or that's Middle East, but the people that did it. Yeah. But anyway, so I think that's kind of where I fell in with them. Followed them, but anyway. So, well, hopefully you were able to, have a great time on your journey.
Should be.
Yeah, and you're going to get to see quite a bit of America again this time. So.
Yeah. Both coasts, nothing in between.
Yeah, I was about to say, no stopover in Nashville, I see. So you don't.
No. I think the furthest inland from the east we're going is New Jersey, and the furthest west is Las Vegas. So,
LA is a little further. So yeah.
Oh, sorry, furthest in from the west.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry.
Inland. So furthest.
You said that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
But that's about. Oh, cool. Yeah, no. Anaheim is still very west, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because it's going to be. I guess that's Disney World, Disneyland on the way back. So. Yeah. So
I'm just miming to. My wife who's in the hall.
All good.
Yeah.
All good. So. All right, Wayne, is there anything else you want to share with the Scoops while you got their attention?
You can find me everywhere at Wayne Geo except for Facebook, because some other asshole had that before me. It's just WAYNEGIO. It would have been my full surname, but if Matt and Paul can't say it, no one else can say it. So that's on
Giovanazzi. Yes.
Yes. Giovanazzi. Yeah. It's like, no. It's they got it right one time when I gave Jacob the pronunciation guide, and he says it. Yeah. He says Giovanazzi, which is the Australianized version of it, because I'm pretty sure after World War II, even people in Italian don't call it Giovanazzi anymore. So yeah. And Jacob pronounced it Giovanazzi, and then Matt's like, that's not his name, you're pronouncing it wrong. Matt, what are you doing to me? Yeah.
I remember that.
But yeah, so Twitter, Instagram, Facebook is just not so good at this. Everywhere else, Wayne Geo. Twitch, if you want to see the magic get made.
Yeah.
It's just twitch.tv/Wayne Geo. That's every weekend. You can do the time conversion yourself, but it's 8:30 a.m. Western Australian time. I know that's early morning in Scotland, because Brogan tells me that. Note that it's an appropriate time, I think, on somewhere over east. North seems to still be daylight over there when North tunes in. So.
Yeah, I can't remember. I've seen you guys afterwards, like the interaction.
Yeah.
So, I don't remember now. Is it late or is it in the morning? I don't remember. So.
Yeah. So it's morning for me. So it was about when you messaged me this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you messaged me this morning, it was it was for 8 a.m. my time. We were talking, and it would have been 5 for you?
Right.
So there you go.
Yeah.
It gives you a bit of an idea.
Evening.
Or I tell you what, twitch.tv I think it's /WayneGeo/schedule or schedule, depending where you're from. That will tell you in your local time.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very good. So cool. I'll definitely make an effort to join and watch you do it. Yeah, because
it's fun. You get to see me say things that I regret saying.
So, but if we do join Patreon, we get to request. Do you do requests or do you do like inspirations or how does that work?
Patreon, depending on what level you're at. No matter what, you'll get to see every single comic 24 hours minimum before anyone else. And that includes Piff, Not So Good at This, and anything else that I do. There's exclusive sketches of stupid characters that I do, which are for patrons only. I try to do an update every month and let you know what's going on. But there's also a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, bonus panels and things like that patrons only get to see. But yeah, there's a supporter level where you can force me to draw your comic idea. It started off with I will draw you into a comic, but people didn't seem to really like that, and most of my characters look the same. So identifying yourself is either with facial hair if you've got it, or Scoop John B wears a baseball cap. Another guy was like, I've got green eyes. So, yep, there we go. Green eyes.
Green, yeah.
So it's now I will draw your comic idea. Well, it's more like we work together to make a comic. I mean, sometimes John he's got great ideas, and my most popular comic has been born of his suggestions, and that was the Pokemon one with the I can't remember the lyrics now. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be whatever it is. Oh man, I can't remember. But it's basically showing a different Pokemon for each color, and it's like blue's got like a Zubat, and then violet at times is an angry Jigglypuff, and then the last line of that the verse or the chorus or whatever is I can be anything you like. And
it's a mimic.
Two versions. The clean version is just Ditto, saying I can be anything you like, because Ditto can turn into anything. The dirty version is the same Ditto, smoking a cigarette, wearing fishnets, saying for $10 I can be anything you like. And but it was all John's suggestion was because it was popular on TikTok at the time. It's like maybe do something to that song, and then the last panel it could be like an actor coming out or the Pokemon Ditto or something like that. And then we rolled with that. Yeah. And he has final say and approval of it all. And he's had some hits.
That's
John
good.
has. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I've noticed, and I'll notice that. Well, this is a suggestion based on this person, so.
Yeah, so some of them there's a lower tier where you'll get thanked as well on the comic where I try to relate it. So that's directly inspired by Ice Cream Social's personalized thanks, which they don't really do anymore, do they? They just lump us all together.
Yeah, we're all like, the following people are blank. Yeah, we're all accused of the same thing.
All I want is to be recognized by them as a type of tree. That's the one that always sticks to me, the types of tree.
Yes.
So I'll thank you on the comic.
Yeah. Let me bring that shit up, because now that I remember, you've rubbed you brought up a horrible, not horrible, but you brought up a bad memory. It's like what did he say? It was like the microscoop has I think he said it has a micro penis, and I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Well, there was one time that he referred to me as a Nazi, which I say it was coming from Matt. Yeah. So hooray for Nazis. But that was him. That's when I think he decided to say Giovanazzi instead. Yeah. So that's I feel your pain.
Oh well. What can you expect from him?
That's right.
He's the lesser of the three,
Yeah. I love Matt. Platonically.
That's right.
not in the face or anything.
No, never in the face.
Yeah. So. But if you really do like the comic, for just a couple of bucks, you can also you can get spoilers. Not only do you see the comics 24 hours in advance, you get access to a slideshow of every comic idea that I write down before they're drawn. Yeah, so I mean, I'll give you a little taste right now. So I've got 3 lists, right? I keep a green one, I keep a yellow one, and a red one. If I can type, I'm just saying this stuff so I can burn time while I bring up my notes. Here we go. So the green one is comic ideas I can work with, and for example, here is tomorrow's comic. It's a little bit different from the idea, but it starts off with, I'm a contortionist, which is a weird thing for someone just to say outright, isn't it? It's, I'm a contortionist. And then the person they're with says, I bet you could do some pretty freaky things in the bedroom. Right. And then in the last panel, in the bedroom, the contortionist is now dressed up as a ghost. There's a TV in the background with a DVD on it saying, it says Bendy Ghost Porn Volume 1, and the contortionist is saying, ooh, I'm a freaky ghost. Want to see my ghost butthole? So that's an idea that I wrote down, but it was not exactly like that. Originally it was, I'm a contortionist. I bet you could do some pretty freaky things in the bedroom. Why don't we find out? And then dressed as ghost is all it says. Right. So it's not all. So it's spoilerish. And then I've got the yellow list, which is comic ideas that need work. So, for example, it's an idea that needs to be fleshed out properly. Like, it just says someone gives the wrong answer in class and everyone laughs, and then they're like, oh, I'll never speak again. I need the setup for that kind of thing, because that's like a relatable thing, I imagine. Right. If you get the setup. So that needs work. And then I've got the red list, which is comic ideas that need work. Here are some examples. Squirrel massage. That's all it says. Time traveling cigarette. Time traveling cigarette. I don't know. Ow. Usually these things come from drunken conversations with my friend or brothers or something like that. But at the time, I think that they're good ideas. Yeah. But, so yeah, you can see that insight. You can see all those ideas that most of them don't make it, because there's a retired section as well of ideas that are never going to get made, and that's like 5 slides long compared to 1 or 2 slides for the rest of them. So you got that as well if you like the behind the scenes kind of stuff. Sweet,
Wayne. I've had a great time.
Yeah, it's been fun.
So. Scoops, get out there and check out Wayne's art and like, subscribe, etc. And I hope for you guys that are going to Scoop Fest, say hi to Wayne. And
okay. Also, if I see you at Scoop Fest and you want some stuff, I know you come up with a secret code word. Okay, the code word can be for tomorrow's comic, which is Ghost Butthole. If you say Ghost Butthole to me, I'll give you a little not so good at this care package.
All right, that works, and that tells us 2 things: 1, that you're a fan of Wayne, and 2, you've listened to the entire episode.
That's right. Yeah, so it benefits. So you have to be part of both worlds.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's awesome. All right, man. I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks again.
No worries, mate.
All right.
Talk to you later.